Welcome back from lunch. If you know this song, would you stand and sing it with us? In Christ alone. In Christ alone, my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. This cornerstone, this solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. What heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are still, when striving cease. My comforter, my all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand. In Christ alone, who took on flesh, fullness of God in helpless babe, this gift of love and righteousness, scorned by the ones he came to save, till on that cross as Jesus died, the wrath of God was satisfied. For every sin on him was laid. Here in the death of Christ I live. There on the ground his body lay. Sing it with us. There in the ground his body lay, light of the world by darkness slain. Then bursting forth in glorious day, up from the grave he rose again. And as he stands in victory, since curse has lost its grip on me, for I am his and he is mine, bought with the precious blood of Christ. On Christ the solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand. On Christ the solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand. No guilt in life, no fear in death. This is the power of Christ in me. From life's first cry till final breath, Jesus commands my destiny. No power of hell, no scheme of man could ever pluck me from his hand, till he returns or calls me home. Here in the power of Christ I'll stand. Sing this together. On Christ the solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand.
Sing that verse. My hope is built.
My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but wholly lean
sand, all other ground is sinking sand.
Haven't we appreciated our musicians? Express our appreciation again to them, please, for their wonderful leadership during this whole week, 2 weeks. Thank you so much. And now I'd like all the pages to please stand. We have pages at each of these locations, and I want the pages to turn and look at me, if you would. And I want to ask you to please forgive me. The last time that I was in this chair, I was a bit abrupt, trying to figure out how people could get in the queue, and I want you to please forgive me. So if you're in favor of forgiving me, please raise your hand. If you're unwilling to forgive me, then talk to your mom and dad, please. Maybe they can pray with you and help you to forgive me. Thank you so much. Let's express our appreciation to our pages. All right, well, let's move now to DA 204, and this was rejected by more than 2/3 in committee, so it is not before us. DA 205. DA 205. Also rejected from committee. All right. If a reader will help us, please.
Having considered DA 205, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 89 in favor of adoption, 9 against adoption. Resolved that a new paragraph be added to the manual as follows. 208. The role of the district superintendent is to provide oversight and spiritual leader for the pastors and congregations of the district by modeling a life of prayer and devotion to the scriptures, promoting biblical pastoral theology and practices among district clergy, promoting Wesleyan holiness theology and practices throughout the district, casting vision for evangelism and planting churches in the district, resourcing district congregations toward organizational health. Further resolved that the manual paragraphs 208 through 208.20 be renumbered accordingly.
All right, thank you. It is before you. Any questions or discussion? All who favor adoption of this resolution, please show your hand. Hands down. Any opposed, please show your hand. The adoption is adopted. The resolution is adopted. I had a lot of lunch. DA 209.
Having considered DA 209, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 64 in favor of adoption, 49 against adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 206 be amended as follows. The initial term of office for a district superintendent who is elected at a district assembly begins 30 days after the adjournment of the district assembly. It runs for 2 full assembly years, ending 30 days after the adjournment of the assembly that marks the second anniversary of the election. Prior to the second anniversary of the election, a district or district superintendent review may be conducted where the discussion of continuing the relationship will be considered. 206.1. The initial term of office for a district superintendent who is appointed by the general superintendent in jurisdiction begins at the time of the appointment, includes the remainder of the church year in which the superintendent was appointed, and extends through the 2 following church years. The term of office ends 30 days after the adjournment of the assembly that marks the end of the second full assembly year of service. Prior to the second full assembly year of service, a district/district superintendent review may be conducted where the question of continuing the relationship will be considered. 206.1. At said assembly, the district/district superintendent relationship may be continued as per 206.1. No elder in the district shall be eligible to be elected or appointed to the office of district superintendent on the district where they are serving without the approval of the district advisory board and the general superintendent in jurisdiction, in harmony with paragraph 115. Further resolved that a new paragraph be added to the manual as follows: renewing the district/district superintendent relationship. 206.1. The district/district superintendent relationship may be continued in one of the two following ways. The regular district superintendent election. At the time of said assembly, the superintendent may be re-elected, 203.11 to 203.12, or a successor elected or appointed and qualified. No elder employed by the district office shall be eligible to be elected or appointed to the office of district superintendent on the district where they are serving without the approval of the district advisory board and the general superintendent in jurisdiction, in harmony with paragraph 115. See also 203.11 through 13. The regular district/district superintendent review. The district/district superintendent relationship may, at the request of the general superintendent or the district superintendent and district advisory board, be reviewed by the officers of the district advisory board, chairman of the district SDMI board, presidents of the district NMI and NYI, the district secretary and the district treasurer, meeting with the general superintendent in jurisdiction or their designee prior to the 2nd District Assembly following his or her election or appointment, and every 4 years thereafter. The secretary of the district advisory board shall be responsible for scheduling the review meeting or meetings in consultation with the general superintendent in jurisdiction and district superintendent. The review meeting or meetings shall be conducted in executive session. At the discretion of the general superintendent in jurisdiction or their designee, a portion of the review may be conducted in the absence of the district superintendent. A public and/or printed announcement explaining the purpose of this review shall be conveyed to the district no less than 7 days prior to the regular district/district superintendent review. At this review meeting, the question of continuing the district/district superintendent relationship shall be discussed. The objective is to discover consensus without the need of a formal vote by the officers of the district. If the officers of the district do not vote to present the question of continuing the district/district superintendent relationship to the district assembly, the district/district superintendent relationship will continue. The officers of the district may vote to present to the district assembly the question of continuing the district/district superintendent relationship. The vote by the officers of the district will be by ballot and require a majority of all officers of the district present to carry. If the officers of the district vote to present the question of continuing the district/district superintendent relationship to the district assembly, the matter shall be presented at the next district assembly. The question shall be presented: shall the present district superintendent continue in office beyond this district assembly? The vote shall be by ballot and require 2/3 favorable vote to continue the district/district superintendent relationship, except where civil law of a given country requires otherwise. The chairperson of the Board of Tellers and the general superintendent shall personally inform the district superintendent of the results of the vote before any public announcement is made. If the district assembly votes to continue the district/district superintendent relationship, the district/district superintendent relationship shall continue as though such a vote had not been taken. Otherwise, the district/district superintendent relationship shall end 30 to 180 days following the close of district assembly, with the date to be determined by the general superintendent in jurisdiction in consultation with the officers of the district. If the district superintendent chooses not to proceed with the vote of the district assembly, he or she shall submit a resignation. In such case, the district/district superintendent relationship shall end prior to the district assembly, the date to be determined by the general superintendent in jurisdiction in consultation with the officers of the district. The purpose of the review is improvement, focused communication in which all parties are evaluating their strengths, weaknesses, areas that need attention, and accomplishments to be celebrated. Further resolved that manual paragraph 203.11 be amended as follows. The first sentence remains the same. The second sentence is deleted and then is added. The procedure for continuing the relationship between the district and the district superintendent will be governed according to paragraph 206.1. No elder shall be considered eligible for election to this office who has at any time surrendered his or her credential for disciplinary reasons. No superintendent shall be elected, relationship renewed, or re-elected following his or her 70th birthday. Further resolved that manual paragraph 203.12 be amended as follows. After a district superintendent of a Phase 2 or Phase 3 district has served a district for at least 2 assembly years, the district assembly may extend the relationship with the district superintendent for a period of 4 years, subject to the approval of the general superintendent in jurisdiction. The procedure for extending the relationship shall be governed by paragraph 206. Further resolved that manual paragraph 203.13 be amended as follows. Special district/district superintendent review. In the interim of regular reviews, in case the general superintendent and the district advisory committee shall be of the opinion, by 2/3 vote of all the officers of the district present, that the services of the district superintendent should not continue beyond the current year, the general superintendent having jurisdiction and the DAC may order the question submitted for a vote of the district assembly. The question shall be submitted in the following form. Shall the present district superintendent continue in office beyond this district assembly? Next two paragraphs have no change.
Thank you very much. Microphone number 5. Identify yourself and speak in favor, against, or a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Eddie Estep, South Carolina, USA, Canada. I speak against the resolution and strongly encourage the delegates to vote down this resolution. It does violence to our form of government. Our representative form of government seeks to avoid, on the one hand, the episcopacy, on the other hand, unchecked congregationalism. This resolution pushes us very much toward the episcopacy. For instance, it could be that a district never has the opportunity to vote on their district superintendent. If a superintendent is appointed, then the district would likely never vote on their district superintendent, because more than likely, if this resolution passes, a vote on a district superintendent will have the same stigma attached to it that a vote on a local church pastor has. Furthermore, in our form of government, the jurisdictional responsibilities of superintendents require us to be accountable to district assemblies and to general assemblies. This body, on Monday, had the privilege and the responsibility of voting on incumbent superintendents. We had the opportunity to affirm those superintendents by our vote and to hold them accountable by our vote. That accountability is critical to our structure. We should not take that same privilege and responsibility away from district assemblies.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Estep. Any other questions or microphone 8? Identify yourself, speaking in favor, against, or a question.
Dan Spate, USA, Canada. It is a question. Perhaps best answered, I suspect, by the chair of the committee. This is such vast language. And as I ask this question, I just want to make it clear I'm very supportive of our current district superintendent. So I'm not asking this about the Arizona district, just everybody else's district. It appears to me that the attempt is to pattern this after the pastoral review fairly closely. But can you answer the question of whether the district advisory board is capable of requesting the jurisdictional GS for a review? It appears to me like it requires both the DS and the DAB to request it. And if that's the case, then it would be similar to a board not being able to ask their DS for it. So if somebody could clarify, I think whether this passes, if this passes, that's an incredibly pertinent question.
Let's see if we have an answer. I think the question is, does the district advisory committee have the authority to call for a special review? And I believe in section 2, in paragraph 203.13, that is in fact their authority, as I read it. Am I correct? Maybe the committee members or the authors of the... As I read it, 203.13 does authorize it, the DAC to call for a special review. All right, any other questions? Yes, sir. Microphone number 7.
David Montgomery, British Isles South District. I have a question. Will the Board of General Superintendents be able to come to our district to perform a review of the district superintendent?
All right. I'll turn to a member of our board to give their best possible answer as to whether this would be doable or whether that would have to be, at times, if this was approved, at times we'd have to delegate perhaps to other persons if the general superintendent was not able. Seeing no movement behind me, Dr. Warwick to the rescue.
I'm going to help you out one last time, Dr. Porter.
I need your
one more time.
Thank you, sir.
Part of the language of the resolution says the general superintendent or a designee. In many cases, that would be the regional director. It might also be a field strategy coordinator. In some cases, it might be the district superintendent. That would depend on availability and time constraints and such. Does that help?
Thank you very much. Microphone number 9.
Larry Leonard, Mid-South District, USA, Canada. The word may gives flexibility for
Are you speaking in favor or
I'm speaking
against?
in favor.
Okay.
The word may gives the flexibility for any district to operate as it desires. The argument that it takes away is leaning too far toward episcopacy is actually taken away when we have had a review of the pastor for many years now, and that hasn't been considered episcopacy. And so I feel that what this does is it gives districts the opportunity to choose as they wish whether there would be a review or whether there would be an election of the district superintendent at the assembly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Any more questions? Microphone number 5. Identify yourself. In favor or against or question?
Jeff Gray, South Central Ohio District. I make a motion that we suspend the rules, that there would be no amendments allowed on this, that it would be voted up or down as is.
All right, no debate, 2/3 required. Is there a second? I hear no second. Second, okay. To clarify, the motion is to suspend the rules so that we will not be editing or amending. We will simply be voting after further discussion. All in favor of suspending the rules and not allowing for any amendments to this resolution, please show your hand. Thank you. Hands down. Any opposed? Show your hand. Well, it's a little unsure. We need 2/3 vote. Take your voting device, please. Make sure it's turned on. If you support suspending the rules so that we can debate but not edit and not amend, please vote 1 now and send. If you are in favor of suspending the rules, vote 1. If you're opposed to suspending the rules and you want the privilege of editing, vote 2. The voting is closed. We'll wait for the results. It did not reach the 2/3, so it is before you, and it is available for debate and for possible amendments. Number 4, state your name and the intent of your comments.
Larry Dennis, USA, Canada, Florida. I would speak against the motion.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, as we look through this, would require a number of additions and changes to make it work for us. It's very, very wordy. And as we look at this, this is my 9th General Assembly as a delegate. And at this particular assembly, I've seen so many more items that are coming to us that almost place us in the position of a Roman Catholic Church or the Episcopal Church, where it appears that we're taking more and more of the responsibility away from the local churches and from the districts and placing them within the Church of the Manual. And I feel like we're making a mistake with this. I would encourage the body to vote this down. I think they might be able to bring it back in 4 years, smaller, more compact, with more involvement on the part of the local churches in the district in this. So,
all right, thank you very much. That's 2 speeches against. Anyone want to speak in favor? Microphone number 8. Microphone number 8. Identify yourself, please.
Dan Spade, Arizona. The question that I asked was, is the District Advisory Board, not the District Advisory Council, able to ask the JGS for a review? Because at least in the districts I've been on the advisory board of, the council is not a functional body. The advisory board meets frequently, and this would leave the very uncomfortable question of who can call the advisory council on the question. And if the advisory board cannot request directly from this, that's very pertinent to this action.
All right. The way I read the document, the District Advisory Board does not have that authority. Somebody want to correct me? I believe the way it reads is District Advisory Committee, not the District Advisory Board. Microphone number 10. Yes, sir.
Dan Gilmore, USA, Canada, Northern Michigan. I speak against this amendment for what my brother Estep said, but also, and it's very vague, it appears that this is giving the right to the District Advisory Committee to review the DS relationship without, I mean, they can request a GS or some representative from the general church. To me, that would be similar to a church board reviewing a pastor without the DS's involvement. So I think that there are many problems with this resolution, and for that cause I am opposed to it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We've had 3 speeches against and 1 in favor. Anyone else want to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak in favor of adopting? Microphone number 9, there's a motion.
Hello, Albert Hung, Northern California District. I would like to make a motion to refer for action by the Board of General Superintendents, and if there's a second, I'd like to explain.
All right, is there a second to refer this to General Superintendents for action? There's a second, go ahead.
Thank you. I have been the District Superintendent for Northern California for 2 weeks. And I think it is absolutely essential that we honor the spirit in which this resolution was made, which is to have some kind of accountability and review process for district superintendents, which is currently insufficiently stated in the manual. At the same time, I do agree with our brother Eddie Estep that moving towards an episcopacy would be a mistake. I believe there is some way to have a review process and remain accountable to the Assembly. However, I do not believe we have enough time to make the amendments necessary here, and I would, but I would not. It would be, I think, a mistake simply just to vote it down without some kind of plan for further action.
All right, that's a speech in favor of referral. Anybody else want to speak to the issue of referring? Are you ready to vote on referral? The motion is to refer to the Board of General Superintendents for action. Okay, this requires a majority vote. All who are in favor of referring this to the Board of General Superintendents for action, please show your hand. Thank you. Hands down. Those opposed, please show your hand. It is referred. DA 210 had 100% for rejection, so it is not before us. DA 211.
Having considered DA 211, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 87 in favor of adoption, 36 against adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 203.11 be amended as follows. The amending is to delete the last sentence so that the paragraph would end with the sentence, "No elder shall be considered eligible for election to this office who has at any time surrendered his or her credential for disciplinary reasons."
All right, it is before you. Anyone want to speak in favor or against? Any questions? Microphone number 5, identify yourself, and are you speaking in favor or against?
Eddie Estep, South Carolina District, USA, Canada, Chairman of the committee. I just want to make sure which resolution is before us.
DA 211.
I'm not certain that's the resolution that was read.
According to the document I have in my hand, it's to strike the last sentence regarding the 70th birthday of a superintendent. What number do you have, Dr. Estep?
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your clarification.
All right. So it is before us. Anyone wishing to speak in favor or against? The committee recommends adoption. The resolution is now before you. You ready to vote? Take your instrument, your voting device, please. And you're going to vote 1, yes, if you agree with the resolution to strike the last sentence, and you'll vote 2, no, if you do not agree. So if you are in support of the resolution to strike, you can vote now. Vote 1, yes, I'm in support of this resolution, or vote 2 if you're not in support. We'll close the voting and wait for the results. So the support is to adopt that resolution. Thank you very much. DA 202.
Having considered DA 202, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 110 for adoption, 1 against adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 203.17 be amended as follows. To facilitate its efforts to prepare candidates for ordination and provide support and clergy development opportunities for its ministers, a district may elect the total number necessary to serve on both the District Ministerial Credentials Board and the District Ministerial Studies Board as a District Board of Ministry. Those ministers elected shall serve for 4 years. The District Board of Ministry with the District Superintendent as ex officio chairman, 213, shall organize the Board of Ministry to carry out all the duties and responsibilities of the Ministerial Credentials Board and of the Ministerial Studies Board as described in Manual 226 through 231.4.
All right, it is before us. Anyone choosing to speak in favor or against this resolution? The committee recommends adoption. Being no one going to the microphones, are you ready to vote? Microphone number 6.
Alfonso Porter, Caribbean region, Caribbean Field, Mesoamerica region. My concern here, sir, and I have a question, is the use of that term rehabilitation again. I did ask yesterday concerning the use of recovery versus rehabilitation. And I think the answer I got spoke more to reinstatement and recovery. But this District Board of Ministry here provides for a committee to deal with rehabilitation.
Brother Porter,
yeah.
I think that portion is being deleted.
Okay.
Am I correct in saying that the rehabilitation reference no longer would be a part? Is that correct? Maybe.
Okay, if so, then.
Yeah, that's stricken. Brother Porter is my brother. We have the same father. All right, any questions or debate on DA 202, microphone number 9?
I have a question that's unrelated, Mr. Chairman. I'll wait until the vote, please.
All right. Are we ready to vote on DA 202? The committee recommends adoption. All who favor adoption of this resolution, show your hand, please. Thank you. Hands down. Those opposed, show your hand, please. It is adopted. Microphone number 9.
Larry Leonard, Mid-South District, USA. A few moments ago, we passed legislation that lifts the age limit on district superintendent. However, in just a resolution before that, there is a statement that no one shall be elected to the office of district superintendent after the age of 70. So I'm just wanting to be sure that that's noted as we move through the process.
Could you help us? The reference, we have the one here. The reference, please, those 2 resolutions for us. 210 was not brought to us because it died in committee.
I think DA 200, Mr. Chairman, is the one that we're talking about.
DA 200, just a moment.
I'm sorry, DA 209.
DA 209. And you say that there's a reference that was referred.
It is referred, okay.
But we'll study that in light of the action taken a moment ago.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So 211 was adopted as presented. 202 was adopted. Now we're on DA 203, and there is no debate. Microphone 3. There's no debate on this one.
Boa tarde, senhor presidente. Português,
Mr.
please.
Chairman. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman.
Pastor Oséias, Brasil, Distrito Rio de Janeiro, Baixada.
Pastor Oséias, Rio de Janeiro District, Baixada, Brasil.
Gostaria somente de fazer uma clarificação.
I just would like some clarification here.
Acredito que a questão apresentada anteriormente
I believe that the question presented before
seja a DA 210.
might be DA 210.
A última linha.
The last line.
Que fala, nenhum superintendente distrital.
No. Perdão, irmão. Pardon me, brother.
Perdão.
DA 210 was rejected in the committee, and it was rejected here.
A 210 foi rejeitada no comitê e foi rejeitada aqui também, irmão
Okay.
Oséias.
Okay. Obrigado. Thank you, sir. We're back to 203. Are you ready to vote? Oh, we need to have it read, please.
Having considered DA 203, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 129 for adoption, 0 against adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 228.8 be amended as follows. The duties of the Ministerial Credentials Board are to recommend to the District Assembly retired relationship for a minister requesting such relation who desires to discontinue active ministerial service because of age or disability. 203.27 and 534.
District Administration Committee unanimously recommended adoption. There was no debate. Are you ready to vote? All in favor of adopting DA 203, show your hand, please. Thank you. Hands down. Any opposed? Show your hand, please. It is adopted. DA 206, again unanimous, so there is no debate.
Having considered DA 206, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 129 in favor of adoption, 0 against. Resolved that manual paragraph 201 be amended as follows. The change is near the bottom. We'll pick up in the halfway down in a long sentence. The newly elected superintendent or vice superintendent of each local SDMI board, 146. The newly elected president or vice president of each local NYI, 151. The newly elected president or vice president of each local NMI, 153.2, or an appropriately elected alternate may represent the NMI, NYI, and SDMI organizations in the District Assembly. Those serving in assigned roles of ministry according to 503 through 526.1, The lay members of the District Advisory Board, 221.4, active lay missionaries whose local church membership is on the district, all retired lay missionaries whose local church membership is on the district who were active missionaries at the time of retirement, and the lay delegates from each local church and church-type mission in the Assembly District.
All right, thank you. It is before us for a vote. It was adopted by unanimous vote by the District Administration Committee, so we will not have any debate. Are you ready to vote? All who favor adoption of DA 206, please raise your hand. Show your hand. Thank you. Hands down. Those opposed, show your hand. It is adopted. DA 208, please. It was rejected in committee. It is available for debate. No, 2/3. It's rejected by 2/3 vote in committee. All right. DA 212.
Having considered DA 212, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 72 in favor of adoption, 58 opposed to adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 208.5 be amended as follows. To schedule and conduct with each local church board the regular church/pastoral review according to the provisions of 123. The district superintendent shall provide an annual record of regular church/pastoral reviews conducted to the district advisory board and the general superintendent in jurisdiction.
All right, it is before you. Are there any questions? Anyone want to speak in favor or against adoption of DA 212? Are you ready to vote? The committee recommends adoption. I think someone is at the microphone. Microphone number 4. Identify yourself, please.
Larry Dennis, USA, Canada.
Speaking in favor, against, or question?
Speaking against, I would just say, Mr. Chairman, that I see this as more unnecessary regulations. It's a sign of what I was speaking about earlier, and I would encourage us not to vote this through because we're starting a train that seems like it's leaving the station on additional control and regulations. And one of my advisory board members just said, why do we need to even know this? I mean, so, and I understand maybe one thing happens on one district and then they want the entire church around the world to change, but I'm encouraging and hopeful that we will vote this down.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak in favor or in opposition or a question? DA 212. Are you ready to vote? You going to the microphone? Microphone number 10. Identify yourself, please.
Jeff Kunselman, Northwestern Ohio, USA, Canada. The church pastoral review process is described in Manual 123. It is our agreed
Are you speaking
upon,
in favor or against?
I am speaking in favor, thank you. It is our agreed upon system of governance. Reviews are to be conducted on every district for the benefit of local churches. Per 123, reviews may be conducted by the DS or an ordained minister or layperson appointed by the DS. Thus, this workload can be shared. Reviews are often affirming experiences for pastors, as through a formal means, church board members attest to the gifts and graces of their pastor and recognition of a local church's ministry as noted and celebrated. Reviews, rightly conducted, are opportunities to review the health of the local church that can be useful in preventive and prescriptive measures. Reviews provide opportunities for beneficial communication between a church board and a pastor and a district superintendent. A church pastoral review is one of the most significant and beneficial means of service to local churches by district leadership and is already required. Thus, a simple record consisting merely of the date of the review and the name of the person conducting such should be a small task for a district superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you. We've had one speech in support and one speech in opposition. Microphone number 4.
Yes, Jim Bond, Kansas, USA, Canada. I speak against this resolution. It's already a job of the district superintendent to provide pastoral review. I don't think we need a document to help us do our job. I think it ties us down to more, what I want to say, minutia, when I feel like these days we need to be leading the mission, and so I speak against this resolution.
All right, thank you. We've had 2 speeches against and 1 in favor. Anyone else wish to speak? Microphone number 2.
Kafoa from the Asia Pacific region. I speak against this resolution. The issue of review is not the one that's in question here. It's the additional process of having to provide a report to the District Advisory Board. I respect my learned friend that just spoke earlier, but this resolution doesn't mention a minor report. It just says that you have to provide an annual record. So this annual record could be subject to interpretation of the DIB, and it could be a very lengthy report as opposed to a small report, which is not stated here. So if the District Advisory Board requires a report because of some issue in relation to a pastor, they can make that request and provide it, but not make it mandatory to continue to provide for that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We've had 3 speeches in opposition. Anyone wish to speak in support of DA 212? Microphone number 4.
Yes, Kim Smith, USA, Canada, Iowa. I would speak in support of it for the simple fact that it is already responsibility of a district superintendent, and it requires no additional work to create a report and to celebrate with the District Advisory Board the successes that a local church has had with that. I believe builds community and participation across the district.
Thank you very much. We've had 3 speeches in opposition and 2 in support. Anyone else wish to speak in support? Microphone number 5.
Stan Reeder, Oregon Pacific, USA, Canada. I speak in support. I think a worthy question is, given that the review is so important to the local church and local pastor, if they were not happening, who would know? And we have discovered to some degree through DS training that there are a number of pastors that have not had a review in the prescribed times. And so I would say speak in support of it because accountability is good.
All right, we've had 3 speeches in support and 3 speeches in opposition to DA 212. Are you ready to vote? Microphone number 10, there's a motion.
It's probably a moot point now. Jim Cooper's South Central, USA, Canada.
And what is your motion?
I was simply going to call the question for fear of having yet another legislation referred.
Thanks very much. Ready to vote? Microphone number 6 is a question.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Can you put the wording back up there? I want to ask a simple question. Some of us are discussing whether the line, the district superintendent shall provide an annual record. Does this mean that the district superintendent simply says, this is a record of the reviews I have directed this year? Or does it mean that the district superintendent has to provide to the district advisory board the details of that review and a full report of it? We're not sure what the word record means in that.
It would be to the interpretation of the advisory board and the superintendent.
Okay.
Because we don't have any further clarification.
Thank you.
All right, we're ready to vote now. Use your voting device, please. If you support adoption of DA 212, in just a moment you will mark 1. If you're opposed to DA 212, you will vote with a number 2, which is no. If you support, vote number 1, vote now. If you do not support DA 212, vote with a number 2 now, please. Voting is closed. We'll wait for the results. There has been support to adopt this resolution. DA 207, no debate. It is before us.
Pardon me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes?
I know we're eager to move along, and I have no desire to delay the action. I wish to ask a question, and if my question generates interest, that someone could make a motion for reconsideration of Resolution 211. I would speak to that resolution, for I feel like we have some lack of harmony in what was referred in 209 and what was enacted with respect to the removal of age limit for the election of a district superintendent.
Did you vote on the prevailing side?
I voted against it, so I realize I can't make a motion.
Oh, okay, thank you.
If I have any friends out here that would...
yeah.
would
okay, thank you very much. Thank you. If somebody chooses to do so, they can do so at some point in the future.
You couldn't
All
find
right.
any?
I'm sure you have friends, but all right. Microphone number 10.
Ismael Flores. Where am I from? I'm from South Texas, USA. I'd like to present a motion, Mr. Chairman, to reconsider DA 211.
All right, you voted on the prevailing side?
I did.
All right, is there a second? All right, so what is the rationale for the referral? Or to reconsider, pardon me.
I think we need to be sensitive to some of our international districts where a hierarchy sometimes takes place in their form of leadership. And so if there is an age limit, will allow for younger people to come and step in and take the district in a new direction.
Well, as I understand, we approved DA 211. Am I mistaken?
That is correct. We took away...
So the age limit was removed? Is that what happened?
Yes. So I want a age limit put in.
You want the age limit put in again?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Any other speeches in favor or opposed to the motion to reconsider?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
May I speak?
Yes, please.
I'm older than I've ever been. I'm not as old as I want to be. I think to some extent I still have a reasonable command of the faculties of my calculation and thinking. However, if we go down the way the action provided, it puts us in disharmony with the age factor by which we elect our general superintendents. Currently, it is virtually in harmony. And I would encourage us today to at least reconsider the action, and if nothing else, refer it to the Board of General Superintendents so that as they review 209, they would be able to review 211. I think it is a mistake today to remove the age factor as it is. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. No need for applause in the debate. Thank you. We will, we understand that's been 2 speeches in favor of reconsideration. Microphone 10.
Rice, Matt Rice, South Central, USA. I want to speak to reopening it again. My reasons to that, if you look at the reasons that were listed.
So you're in support of reconsideration?
Yes, I am, sir. The reasoning, the age limits, if you look around the world, the ages go from 50 years of age to all the way to 89 years of age. It lists that life expectancy is around 80. Also to the idea of the President of the United States, he always runs opposed. And the way that we're looking at this, a district superintendent wouldn't have that every 4 years to run opposed. And how incredibly difficult it is, as someone who sits on an advisory board, to be in a position to where they would want to ask their district superintendent or leader to step down. And the same thing for our assembly, to have to vote in a divisive manner to ask the district superintendent or to vote them down. I feel like there needs to be an age requirement to where we can begin the process. Maybe there would be a motion to raise the age limit to 72 or 74. I would let somebody else speak to that if we would open it up to revisit the.
To reconsider.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. That's 3 speeches in favor of reconsideration. Anybody want to speak against reconsideration? Anyone wish to speak against reconsidering DA 211? Microphone number 4. You speaking against reconsideration?
I just have a question. Terry Chapman, USA Canada, Iowa District. The earlier resolution allows for a DS to be elected prior to their 70th birthday and run through. This one just says you cannot be reelected after. A DS could go to 72 or 3. I don't see a problem having both.
Thank you very much. All right, are you ready to vote on the motion to reconsider? All right, it does require a majority vote. Take your voting device, please. Those in favor of reconsidering DA 211 will vote yes. Those opposed to reconsidering will vote 2, which is no, and you may vote now. 1 is yes to reconsider, 2 is no, opposed to reconsidering. 1 is yes to reconsider DA 211, 2 is no. We'll close the voting now. The motion to reconsider has prevailed. All right, so it is now before you, DA 211. The committee recommended adoption, which is to remove the last sentence. This is now before us. Who wants to speak in favor or against, or a question? Some of those who brought the motion to reconsider were actually could be considered as speeches in favor, so we don't need to debate this too much more. I think everyone kind of knows what you want to do. Any more debate in favor or opposed? Yes.
They were here before.
But, go ahead, Dr. Middendorf.
Mr. Chairman, I would speak against the resolution to remove the age limit. I have no personal dog in this hunt, but I firmly believe that for the sake of the church, as well as for the sake of the persons in the office, this is a worthwhile thing for us to consider keeping in our manual.
That's a speech against adoption of resolution DA 211. Any other persons who want to speak in favor or opposed? Microphone number 2.
Roland Hearn, Australian North and West District. I just wish to move a motion to refer in line with some of the comments that were made earlier. I think working those two things together by the BGS will be helpful.
All right, is there a second to the motion to refer this to the Board of General Superintendents? All right, it has been moved and seconded to refer. Any further discussion on the motion to refer? DA 211, the motion is to refer to the General Superintendents. Any discussion? Microphone number 10. Is there someone at microphone number 10? Yes.
My name is David Bowser, Mid-Atlantic District, USA, Canada. I wish to speak against the motion to refer, if that would be appropriate.
All right, please go ahead.
My question is simple, and the statement is brief. Throughout the General Assembly, we have suspended the rules through our deliberations several times. My question is, how many times throughout our deliberations have we, as a body, referred resolutions to the Board of General Superintendents? We have incredible confidence in their ability to navigate this matter and provide guidance for us. But my fear is that if we refer another resolution to the Board of General Superintendents, then it would seem to make a motion at some point in our deliberations that we perhaps reconsider our earlier action of moving General Assembly from 4 years to 5 years, because it would seem to me that with the amount of work we have increased to our Board of General Superintendents, they may need 1 extra year.
Thank you, sir.
So I am against the motion to refer.
All right. Anyone else wish to speak in support or in opposition to the motion to refer? The motion before us is to refer DA 211 to the General Superintendents for study. Anyone else? Are you ready to vote on the motion to refer? Those who support the motion to refer, please show your hand. Thank you. Hands down. Those opposed to referring, please raise your hand. All right. The motion to refer is defeated. So we're back to our discussion of the motion. We have 1 speech opposed. Anyone else wish to say anything with regard to DA 211? Microphone 4, please.
Brad Estep, Kansas City District, USA, Canada.
In favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
All right.
I think having an age limit is our historic position and should be maintained. In addition, because if we lift it, a district superintendent could potentially serve into 80s, maybe 90s, because it's very difficult for an advisory board or a district assembly to vote that person out of office, which is very hard to do. So I'm opposed to lifting the age limit.
So you're opposed to DA 211. Anyone else wish to speak to this matter? Microphone number 8, speaking in favor of DA 211 or opposition.
Dennis Linnell, USA, Canada, Alaska District, and I'd like to call the question.
All right. So are you ready to vote? It does require 2/3. If you're ready to vote on DA 211, please show your hand. All right, thank you. Hands down. Those who want to continue debate, please raise your hand. All right, the call for the question has been approved. All right, now we're going to vote on DA 211. Please take your voting device. If you support DA 211, as it is there in front of you, you will vote 1. You're voting on the resolution itself. You'll vote 1, which is yes. The committee recommended adoption. If you're opposed to the resolution, you will vote 2. You may vote now. Vote 1, yes, in support, or vote 2 in opposition to DA 211. All right, the results. We'll close the voting. All right, DA 211 has been defeated, so the manual language would remain as it currently is in our manual. And it's time for a stand-up 64-second break. Please stand up and greet someone near you.
If you'll please find your places, that will be helpful. I had not planned to be back here in this place. There's a country and western song here in the U.S., and the singer read about his death on the internet, and he wrote a song, and there's one phrase in it that says, "I woke up this morning not dead again." And here I am this afternoon not done again. So life moves on, doesn't it? And where are we? All right, let's move forward with DA 207.
Having considered DA 207, the District Administration Committee reports the following action.
And no debate.
Amended and adopted. vote 130 in favor of amendment and adoption, 0 against amendment and adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 214 be amended as follows. The district superintendent shall not create financial obligations, count monies, or disperse funds for the district unless authorized and directed by the majority vote of the district advisory board. Such action, if taken, must be duly recorded in the minutes of the district advisory board. No district superintendent or any member of his or her immediate family shall be authorized to have unrestricted access to the financial accounts or assets of the district without clearly defined and written internal controls approved by the district advisory board. Immediate family shall include spouse, children, siblings, or parents.
All right, this was amended and adopted unanimously by the committee, so there'll be no debate. All who favor the adoption of DA 207, would you show your hands, please? Thank you. Hands down. Any who are opposed, would you show your hands, please? Thank you very much. DA 213. DA 213.
Having considered DA 213, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Referred to Manual Editing Committee. Vote 132 for referral, 0 against referral.
All right, the committee has recommended referral unanimously. There's no debate. So we're voting on the referral, I suppose, aren't we now? All right, we're voting to refer. All who are in favor of referring DA 213 to the Manual Editing Committee, would you indicate by showing your hand? Thank you. Hands down. Any opposed, would you show your hands? All right, and it is referred. Manual paragraph 214, 28 DA4. DA 214. I'll get it.
Having considered DA 214, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Amended and adopted. Vote 126 in favor of amendment and adoption, 4 against amendment and adoption. Resolved that a new paragraph be added to the manual as follows. All district entities shall be authorized to meet by telephone conference or through other electronic media. Voting methods shall be approved by the District Advisory Board. All communications and voting required may be carried out electronically. Further resolved that manual paragraphs 201 through 201.2 be renumbered accordingly.
All right, DA 214 is before you. Are there any questions? Not seeing any, you're ready to vote. All who favor the adoption of DA 214, would you indicate by showing your hand? Thank you. Hands down. Any opposed to the adoption of DA 214, show your hand. And it is adopted. 215 was defeated by 2/3 in committee, so it is not before us. DA 216. DA 216.
Having considered DA 216, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 102 in favor of adoption, 22 opposed to adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 203.15 be amended as follows. To elect a district ministerial credentials board of not less than 5 assigned ordained ministers, 2 of whom shall be the district superintendent and the district secretary, if ordained. If district secretary is a layperson, they would serve as a non-voting member of the credentials board. The remainder change is unchanged. Similar changes in resolve that manual paragraph 226 be amended similarly to 2 who would be the district superintendent and the district secretary if ordained. If the district secretary is a layperson, they would serve as a non-voting member of the credentials board.
All right, DA 216 is before us. Are there questions about DA 216? I'm not seeing any. All who favor the adoption of DA 216 as presented to us today, would you indicate so by showing your hand? Thank you very much. Hands down. Any opposed? Would you show your hand, please? Thank you, and it is adopted. DA 217. DA 217.
Having considered DA 217, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 124 in favor of adoption, 1 against adoption. Resolved that a new paragraph be added to the manual as follows. When a district advisory board incorporates pursuant to paragraph 222.5 the articles of incorporation, bylaws, or comparable legal documentation will provide that the corporation is governed by the provisions of the Manual of the Church of the Nazarene. They will include such provisions as shall be recommended by the General Superintendent in jurisdiction to ensure that upon dissolution or attempt to leave the Church of the Nazarene, the assets of the corporation will not be diverted from the Church of the Nazarene. Once the district's incorporation has been approved by the Board of General Superintendents, upon recommendation of the General Superintendent in jurisdiction, the proposed articles of incorporation shall be sent to the General Secretary's office for review and filing, and they shall include provisions similar to those in paragraph 102.4. Further resolved that existing manual paragraphs 222.6 through 222.22 be renumbered accordingly.
Thank you very much. DA 217 is before you. Are there any questions, comments? You're ready to vote. All who favor the adoption of DA 217 as it has been read, would you indicate by showing your hand? Thank you. Hands down. Any who would be opposed, would you indicate by showing your hand? And it is adopted. DA 218.
Having considered DA 218, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 127 in favor of adoption, 2 against adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 242.3 be amended as follows. Upon the resignation or termination of the district superintendent, the term of service of the paid assistants shall be considered concluded unless otherwise stipulated by national labor law. However, one or more of the staff members may remain with the written approval of the General Superintendent in jurisdiction and the District Advisory Board, but not longer than the date of the new superintendent's assumption of duties.
All right. DA 218 is before you. Are there questions? You're ready to vote. All who favor the adoption of DA 218 as it has been read, would you indicate by showing your hand? Thank you. Hands down. Any opposed, would you indicate by showing your hand? And it is adopted. DA 219. DA 219.
Having considered DA 219, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 125 in favor of adoption, 3 against adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 242.4 be amended as follows. The amending is to add a sentence, a paid district assistant is not eligible to serve on the District Advisory Board.
All right, DA 219 is before you. Are there any questions? All who favor the adoption of DA 219 as it has been read, would you indicate by showing your hand? Thank you. Hands down. Any opposed, would you show your hands? Thank you very much, and it is adopted. DA 220. DA 220.
Having considered DA 220, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 126 in favor of adoption, 0 against adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 200.2 be amended as follows. There is no change for many lines and paragraphs. If you move to the paragraphs that begins talking about phase 3, I will begin reading with the 6th paragraph referring to phase 3. When, in the opinion of a general superintendent in jurisdiction, a district is in crisis, financial, morale, or otherwise, and this crisis seriously affects the stability and future of the district, a district may be declared in crisis with the approval of the Board of General Superintendents. The General Superintendent in jurisdiction, with the approval of the Board of General Superintendents and the Executive Committee of the General Board, may take one or more of the following actions, and there is no change in those actions.
All right, DA 220 is before you. It was referred unanimously to us or sent to us with unanimous adoption. So it is before us. All who favor the adoption of DA 220, would you indicate by showing your hand? Thank you. Hands down. Any who are opposed, would you indicate by showing your hand? And it is adopted. All right, DA 221. DA 221.
Having considered DA 221, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote. 99 in favor of adoption, 22 against adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 530.1, item 2, be amended as follows. Going to item 2. Have a completed 1/4 of the validated course of study for ministers and can demonstrate appreciation, comprehension, and application of the manual and the history of the Church of the Nazarene and of the doctrine of holiness by successfully completing the related portions of a validated course of study.
All right, DA 221 is before you.
Actually,
I'm sorry.
Then the next paragraph, further resolved that manual paragraph 533, item 1 be amended, and that item 1 reads, they demonstrate appreciation, comprehension, and application of the manual and the history of the Church of the Nazarene and of the doctrine of holiness by successfully completing the related portions of the validated course of study.
Thank you, Dr. Hahn. Now DA 221 is before you. Microphone 10.
David Downs, USA, Canada. I speak in favor of this resolution. It is sponsored by the 10 district superintendents of the South Central Educational Region.
Can you speak up just a little more, Dr. Downs? Thank you.
This resolution is sponsored by the 10 district superintendents of the South Central USA, Canada region, and it reflects our very high regard for the district minister's license. That's the same regard that has been expressed several times in our assembly today. The Nazarene District Minister's license carries all of the privileges and responsibilities of ordination, except it must be renewed annually. We believe it is imperative that the district licensed ministers, some of whom are pastors and associate pastors and evangelists, have a clear understanding of the doctrine of holiness and a basic understanding of the manual. They enjoy the experience of entire sanctification, but without biblical theological training, we have learned that they frequently are not able to articulate this doctrine correctly and effectively. They should be able to demonstrate a clear understanding of entire sanctification before receiving a district minister's license. This should also be true of ministers who are seeking to have their credentials recognized from another denomination. We believe this understanding should be...
Thank you, Dr. Downs. Sorry to interrupt you, but the time has expired.
It was necessary for me to restart at one point. Could I have another 15 seconds, maybe?
I'm sorry. This is a hard crowd that I work with, and thank you for understanding. All right. Any other questions or comments? I'm not seeing anyone. DA 221 is now before you. All who favor the adoption of DA 221 as presented, would you indicate by showing your hand? Thank you. Hands down. Any who would be opposed, would you indicate by showing your hands? All right. Thank you very much. And it is adopted. DA 221A. DA 221A.
Having considered DA 221A, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Amended and adopted. Vote 129 for amendment and adoption, 0 against amendment and adoption. Resolved that manual paragraph 530.1 be amended as follows. Item 2. Have passed the Nazarene History and Polity course. Then, the paragraph following item 8. The minister must have completed the equivalent of 1/4 of a validated course of study in the Church of the Nazarene. Exceptions to this requirement may be made by the District Ministerial Credentials Board, provided the candidate is pastoring an organized church, and the rest remains unchanged. Down through, further resolved that manual paragraph 530.2 be amended as follows. And the amending starts in item 1. Have passed the course of study equivalent to a validated course of study in the Church of the Nazarene for local ministers, and can demonstrate appreciation, comprehension, and application of the manual and the history of the Church of the Nazarene and of the doctrine of holiness by successfully completing the related portions of a validated course of study. No further changes to the text.
All right, this was passed unanimously by the committee, so there is no debate. DA 221A is before you. All who favor the adoption of DA 221A, would you indicate by showing your hand? Thank you. Hands down. Any opposed, would you indicate by showing your hand? And it is adopted. DA 222, DA 222.
Having considered DA 222, the District Administration Committee reports the following action. Adopted. Vote 134 for adoption, 1 against adoption. Resolved that a new paragraph be added to Manual Section 200 as follows. Alternative plans for pastoral support may be considered by cooperative efforts of local churches and their respective districts. Further resolved that a new paragraph be added to Manual Section 100 as follows. Alternative plans for pastoral support may be considered by cooperative efforts of local churches and their respective districts.
DA 222 is before you. Are there questions about DA 222? I'm not seeing anyone. All in favor of the adoption of DA 222, would you indicate by showing of hands? Thank you. Hands down. Any who are opposed, would you indicate by the same sign or the showing of hands? All right. Thank you very much. All right. JUD 826. JUD 826.
Having considered JUD 826, the Special Judicial Committee reports the following action. Action adopted. Vote 20 for adoption, 0 against adoption. JUD 826, Church Government Flowchart. Resolved that the church government flowchart in the manual be amended as follows. Under the box for local church, elects pastor and local church board. Insert a box for pastor, paragraphs 115, 513 through 521. Insert below the new box for pastor, elected by the local church, nominated by the church board, approved by the district superintendent to give oversight of a local church. Insert a box for local church board, paragraphs 127 through 127.1, 129 through 130. Insert below the new box for local church board, elected by the local church to manage local church finances and have charge of all other matters pertaining to the life and work of the local church.
Thank you. JUD 826 is before us. It was sent to us unanimously by the committee, so there's no debate. All in favor of the adoption of JUD 826, would you indicate by the showing of hands? Thank you. Hands down. Any opposed, would you indicate by the showing of hands? Thank you very much. And I think that completes the work of the 29th General Assembly of the Church of the Nazarene. We think. I said I think. I just said that to wake you all up, so. We done? Yes. All right. Oh, yes, we do have a special resolution, and I think our General Secretary will help us. This is a minor item. Well, it's not minor, it's major, but it's an item we have to deal with.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Be it resolved that the members of the Manual Editing Committee appointed by the Board of General Superintendents and they are hereby constituted the Manual Editing Committee, and be it further resolved that the Manual Editing Committee be authorized to harmonize conflicting statements that may appear in the record and actions of the 29th General Assembly in regard to changes in the manual, and be it further resolved that the Manual Editing Committee be authorized to make such editorial changes in the text of the present manual as will correct the language without altering the meaning, and be it further resolved that the Manual Editing Committee be authorized to make such editorial changes in the copy of the newly adopted matter as may serve to correct the language without altering the meaning, and be it further resolved that the Manual Editing Committee be authorized to substitute plainly understood words or expressions for confusing words or expression, to revise the numbering of chapters, paragraphs, sections, and other divisions of the manual in harmony with any actions adopted by this 29th General Assembly, and also to prepare the index in harmony with any actions adopted by the 29th General Assembly.
All right, is there a second to that motion? Thank you very much. Any discussion? All who favor the motion, would you indicate by showing of hands? Thank you. Hands down. Any opposed to the motion? Showing of your hands. Thank you very much. Now, I know we have someone standing at the microphone, but at this time I want to yield the chair to the chairman of our board and ask him to come at this time.
Microphone 9. Do you have a question?
Actually, I knew we were ready to go and it was rushed really fast, so I wanted to get up here earlier. But I voted on the prevailing side for GA 300 and just been considering it over the last few days. And I wanted to, before it was over, to see if I could make a motion to reconsider GA 300. I know everybody wants to go home, but I really think this is important. It's important to me, and I'd rather go home knowing that we did at least reconsider it.
All right, you voted on the prevailing side of GA 300?
Yes, sir.
And do we have a second to reconsider? GA 300. All right, I hear a second. Would you like to give a rationale, sir?
Yes.
State your name if you would.
Monroe Ballard, Mid-South District, USA, Canada.
Thank you.
Especially after hearing Dr. Middendorf's devotion this morning, and he read from Ephesians 4:3, make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. And I guess for myself, I had to reconsider what unity meant for me, and when God gives grace, what does grace, when put in my hands, what do I do with it? And so I felt that if we really looked at this again and looked at the 4-year versus the 5-year opportunity, that we would really issue an opportunity for others to be involved, and the unity would be better.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the motion to reconsider is before you, and it has a second. Is there any discussion about the motion to reconsider? Question at microphone 6.
Sorry, yes. I guess I'm requesting special permission to speak. I wasn't entirely sure when to leap in because we were going district general. And a group of us discussed whether we could request that the general superintendents, regional directors, field strategy coordinators, and regional education coordinators could review the way the regions are set up, the way the phases are set up, in particular so that phase 1 districts might fully vote as well as having voice, on the basis of theology of participation, engagement, connection, feeling empowered. This is a theological request, so asking that economic preference not be considered as the primary reason we would do things. So I don't know what that is. It's not a special resolution. It's a genuine request. And I can tell you the signatories, we have one from almost all regions. I couldn't get hold of South America, but I would implore us to review that whole structure to enable participation by our brothers and sisters.
Thank you, Dr. Latz. And were you speaking to the motion to reconsider?
Well, certainly that would probably fit into that category, yes.
Okay, so that would be a speech in favor of motion to reconsider GA 300. So that's two speeches in favor to reconsider. Is there anyone who would make a speech? Microphone 10.
Good afternoon, Jim Ballinger, Northeastern Indiana, USA, Canada. I would vote in opposition to reconsider. The reason being, and first of all, there was comment made online that the white Americans were the ones that wanted to keep it at 4 years. I am global. I'm global. I am all for seeing our international candidates every 4 years. I would be in favor of helping to strategize to house candidates at universities and colleges in the area that need housing. I would be in favor of raising extra funds to get candidates from other parts of the world here. I believe so much in missions, and I think it's why we have to see each other face to face every 4 years. Wanda Knox was my missions professor at Bethany, and she gave me a great heart and a love for missions, and that's why I'm so eager to get here every 4 years, is to see my brothers and sisters. Also, to be able to carry home the message that we are getting every 4 years. It's part of the rhythm of the church, and I value this time, and I was grateful that we decided to go with 4 years, and I hope that we will reject the resolution to reconsider so that we can truly see our brothers and sisters. And last word, I would encourage every delegate who has not bought their tablet, if you're from the USA and Canada, buy your tablet and give it to an international representative, an international delegate that would like to take that home. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Brother Jim. That is a motion to a speech against a motion to reconsider.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I would like to speak in favor of reconsidering because I have something to say. Okay, if I may. In favor of reconsideration.
All right, thank you, Dr. Gunner.
Well, I'm going to speak in favor of the motion. Are you ready for that?
Yes, you have the
Okay.
floor. Thank you.
I wanted to speak yesterday in favor of the resolution GA 300, but I couldn't find the place to jump in. So now I have a place to jump in. Thank you. I am not speaking for the Board of General Superintendents, unless they want me to. But I want to speak to this out of my own heart, my own mind, my own experience of directing 5 global NMI conventions. And all of this, of course, is in regard to the 5-year interval for General Assembly. Why 5 years? And I'll say this as quickly as I can. 5 years would give more time for local, district, field, and regional mission engagement. There would be a better use of the calendar for tens of thousands of Nazarenes who view regional gatherings as opportunities for greater connectedness to the broader church. 5 years frees up significant time of global and regional office personnel for other very important events focused on leadership development, missional equipping of pastors, laity, and district superintendents, and for telling the story. A 5-year interval would free up as much as $1.5 million of World Evangelism Fund in hard dollars, according to our global treasurer, that could be reinvested in other areas of ministry, especially in our task of the evangelization of the world. And that does not even include the millions of dollars local church and districts spend to pay for their pastors and delegates to attend. Yeah. All my adult ministry life, I've been passionate about missions.
Thank you, Dr. Gunner. Thank you. I think our time is... Go ahead and finish what you were saying. Yes.
Wow. Well, I've always been taught to submit, but nevertheless. I've been passionate about missions, and you know that, and reaching more nations, more people for Christ. And I know this takes personnel and World Evangelism Fund monies. Since our world moves at such a fast pace these days, and since opportunities for connectedness have been greatly enhanced via social media and midterm gatherings, it seems to me that having more human and financial resources to allocate to our mission is of greater value, and we must stay focused on our mission. So I ask you to support this resolution, and thank you for the extra time.
All right, that is 3 speeches in favor, 3.5 speeches in favor. Microphone 10, are you speaking in favor or against?
Against.
Okay.
I don't speak from a vacuum of experience in missions, global missions. As a missionary, as a pastor of a multicultural church with 22 nationalities and 7 language groups operating as one church. I spoke in committee that we should have a quadrennium instead of a quintennium I spoke here in regard to it. The Assembly expressed its will by a 60 to 40% vote. I have to be careful here because I would hate to end this assembly by the power of the episcopacy introducing such a division in this assembly at this point. I'm disappointed that we would take that risk when the assembly has already spoken to this matter, and it was very clear it was not close. I won't belabor all of the reasons I gave yesterday. There are many other reasons I could have shared given the time, but I hope we will uphold what the Assembly has already decided.
All right, thank you. So, microphone 3, are you speaking in favor or against the motion to reconsider?
Eu gostaria de tradução falo em português.
Translation is on site.
Boa tarde.
Good afternoon.
Meu nome é Veloso.
My name is Veloso.
Eu sou do Nordeste do Brasil.
I'm coming from Northeast Brazil.
E estou falando contra
And I'm
meu
speaking
primeiro
against.
argumento é que nós vamos enviar por causa dessa Assembleia agora mais de $100 mil para os refugiados da Síria.
And I'm saying that after this assembly, we're going to send over $100,000 for the refugees in Syria.
E creio que muitas vezes nós estamos preocupados com a parte administrativa.
And I believe that many times we are worried with the administrative side of the church.
Mas nós ansiamos muito estar aqui.
But we all we're coming here very anxiously.
Com nossos irmãos.
With our brothers.
De todo mundo.
From all over the world.
Quanto mais tempo longe, pior para nós.
When the most time away from each other, it's worse for us.
Eu vou pedir para minha esposa ficar de pé, por favor.
I'm going to ask my wife to stand, please.
Minha esposa fez 2 cirurgias, colocou 2 próteses no quadril de titânio.
My wife did 2 surgeries, 2 próteses in her legs.
Na outra assembleia, ela foi empurrada numa cadeira de roda, porque eu tive que subir e descer essa ladeira com ela na cadeira de roda.
Last assembly, I had to push her in a wheelchair, up and down.
E a nossa expectativa era que ela pudesse hoje estar aqui conosco nesses 4 anos. Então nós oramos muito para que ela pudesse estar andando e chegar aqui nesses 4 anos.
And our expectation was for her to be here with us.
Por questões administrativas e gasto, que eu creio que não é problema para a igreja do Nazareno, eu gostaria que vocês continuassem com 4 anos, porque nós queremos estar com vocês aqui.
And if you wish that the church would gather every 4 years, money is not a problem for the Church of the Nazarene.
All right, thank you. So that'll conclude our speeches in the motion to reconsider. We are voting on the motion to reconsider GA 300. Are there any questions before we vote? Microphone 3, you have a question?
Ok. Senhor Presidente, meu nome é Jadilson, sou do Distrito Nordeste Central, Brasil.
My name
Português,
is
por favor.
Jadilson. I'm from Brazil.
Já que eu não posso falar contra, eu faço uma pergunta.
Since I can't speak against, I will raise up a question.
Será que no mundo em que a velocidade das decisões
Would it be that in a world where the speed of decisions
acontecem cada vez mais rápido, as decisões, as mudanças acontecem cada vez mais rápido?
The decisions, the changes are happening faster every day?
Será que não seria prejudicial para a nossa igreja?
Wouldn't it be prejudicial for our church?
Demorar mais tempo ainda para tomar decisões que precisam ser rápidas a favor da mudança no quadro da própria igreja, da administração?
To take longer to come up with decisions, important decisions regarding our church administration?
All right. Any other questions? Questions about the motion to reconsider GA 300? All right. Take your voting devices, if you will, please. So the question is on reconsidering GA 300. If you are in favor of the motion to reconsider, you will press 1. If you are not in favor on the motion to reconsider, you will press 2. You may vote now. This is a majority vote to reconsider. I'm going to give you plenty of time to vote, and then we'll close the vote. Has everyone had a chance to vote? All right, we'll close the vote and we'll wait for the results. All right. All right. So the motion to reconsider is lost. We have come to the end of what I think has been one of the most exciting, amazing General Assemblies that I have had a chance to be a part of. We came, thank the Lord for that. The election of 2 new general superintendents. And I believe the will of the church and the will of the Lord was accomplished for us in that. We praise the Lord for that. We praise the Lord for the opportunity to recognize 2 esteemed leaders tonight who have served us well for 32 years. And I will not soon forget what this body did for our denomination and perhaps beyond our denomination in coming together as a global church to affirm our Wesleyan holiness belief about the goodness of human sexuality. And I commend this assembly for that action and for the many other very important pieces of legislation that you did to serve the church and to serve the kingdom. We thank God for you. There are many people to thank at the end of a General Assembly, and I run the risk of missing some people, but there are a few that need, I think, special thanks. One goes to our General Secretary's office, led by Dr. David Wilson, our General Secretary. Thank you, David. What an excellent job they did. This was my first opportunity to be behind the scenes of a General Assembly and the logistics that it requires to do something of this magnitude is extraordinary. And they do it with so much efficiency and grace that most of us hardly know when something isn't going right. Diane Miller, Susan Metcalf, our readers, our pages, Bartha, the group that helped us to do all of our technology, our IT staff, our GMC staff, the district, the Indianapolis District Church of the Nazarene for doing such wonderful hospitality for us all around this. Thank you. Let's say thank you to all of them. I want to say thank you to you as delegates that you have shown such grace to each other. And I'm grateful for the integrity and the way that you treat one another and celebrate being an international church. And I'm going to take a point of personal privilege right now. I'd like to have every delegate who is here who is a non-English speaker. If you are a non-English speaker as a delegate, would you stand and let me speak to you for a moment? I want to say something to you. I want to say thank you to you, because we know how you must feel at such a disadvantage in meetings like this, where almost everything we do is conducted in the English language. So you're hearing it through interpreters who do a wonderful job, but it's still not firsthand. Sometimes we don't get you the information you need as quickly as some of the rest of us receive it. And yet, through this entire assembly, you have shown nothing but grace and patience, and you have embraced this international church, and we could not be who we are without you. And we want to say thank you for your grace to us this week. I'm going to ask Dr. Jerry Porter to come and to pray a final benediction, at least for this part of the business. I will make one more statement. Our General Secretary will give a few announcements, and then I will declare the assembly adjourned. So Dr. Porter, please come and pray a prayer of thanksgiving and blessing for us. Thanks be to God.
Would you stand, please? We thank you, Lord, for your love for us. Damos gracias, Señor, por tu amor por nosotros. We realize that without you we are nothing. Y reconocemos que sin ti nada somos. But with you, nothing is impossible. Pero contigo, Señor, no hay nada imposible. Bless each delegate and each person here with your abundant blessing. Fill them with your joy and your peace, and guide their lives to be a fragrant, holy offering to you. And grant that we may be always listening carefully to your Spirit's voice, to keep in step with your Spirit, to fulfill the assignment you have given each one of us as individuals and all of us as the body of Christ. Give us new love for you, Lord. Give us new love for your church. Give us new love for the lost. And grant that we may be found faithful in your service for your glory. Amen.
Please be seated one more time. Dr. Wilson, some announcements, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Concessions will close at 6 o'clock this evening. They are open for you now, and they will be until 6 o'clock this evening. To all members who have been elected to the General Board, there is an organizational meeting in room 107 immediately following this meeting. So if you can get to that meeting quickly, we can conduct our business. Thank you. We need both the current General Board members and also those who've been newly elected. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We've come to the conclusion of the business of this General Assembly. And since there is no further business, the 29th General Assembly of the Church of the Nazarene will be adjourned, and the chair declares this assembly adjourned sine die at the last amen of the installation service.